concept of India comes down to us from time immemorial when there was no state even. When it's written in our philosophy and culture, the India which has been conceptualized by Sri Aurobindo and Swami Vivekananda never speaks of division of states. It speaks of Bharat Bodh, Bharat Atma. We say Swami Vivekananda, Shiva Kalpa Vivekananda, Bharat Atma Vivekananda. We say Dr. Shyam Prasad Mukherjee, Bharat Keshari Shyam Prasad Mukherjee. The concept of Bharat is beyond the territory of India. And the concept of beyond the borders of India. It's a philosophy which comes down to us from time immemorial. It's a journey from apparent self to real self. You can be a citizen of a republic when your journey ends up in real self and elevates itself from apparent self to real self. What Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna told, Bado Ami and Choto Ami. With this, I think we will go into the concepts of republic as they are in Vaishali, Kapilavastu, Mallas. These are few names to say. And I think the debate will culminate that let's stand in between. Let's take the best of the East and let's take the best of the West. And let's synthesize the both. And new India should be inclusive and pluralistic. If we can do that, then we can understand the inner spirit of Indian Republic. With these words, I conclude. Bhavamati Shutre, Shayan Prate, Drahamama Buddhe, Jaratang Mate, Prashadatu Kabbe, Shastre Buddhi, Bhavatachu Vache, Vachang Siddhi, Kunthatu Kuntha, Daya Maite, Vidihara Buddhe, Madhavadahite, Jaya Jaya Devi, Charachara Share, Kucha Juga Shovito, Mukta Hare, Veena Ranjito, Pustaka Haste, Bhagavati Bharati, Devi Namaste. Namaskar, a welcome to each and all of you.
Thank you so much, sir. Now I would like to request our guest of honor, Dr. Jayanti Ravi, for her remarks. Ma'am, please, over to you.
Namaste, Vanakkam, good morning and bonjour as we speak here in Auroville. Honorable and respected Chairman of Auroville Foundation and the Honorable Governor of Tamil Nadu, Shri R.N. Raviji, Shri Anirban Ganguly, who has been also connected with Auroville as a member of the governing board earlier on, Shri Dr. Swarup Prasad Ghoshji, whom we just heard, and of course, Shri Arindamji, who has been putting all the efforts in making today's meeting and this beautiful conference possible. Of course, as has been already corrected by our Honorable Chairman and the Honorable Governor, and as Swarupji also mentioned, we can possibly say the last 75 years of the Indian Republic, to say that this is a continuum that spans across millennia. I also want to take this opportunity to convey my greetings and Vandan to stalwarts here from like Dr. Ananda Reddy. We see a lot of devotees and followers from the ashram who are here and some of the senior people at Auroville. We also have today the former DGP of Tamil Nadu, Shri Natraj here. We also have Kishori ji, Dashaputre ji, who has a special connection with Auroville. She is the daughter of Pandit ji, who in a way had a deep connection with mother for a significant portion since the 50s. So it's a very beautiful coming together today. I was asking Arindanji, what is it that you would like me to say here or share here. So he said, a lot of you, I want to quickly, by a show of hands, of course, those of you who belong to Pondicherry, I see Lalitji, Shehnazji, and many others here, Deepshikadi, many of you are from this ecosystem. But how many of you have come to Auroville for the first time? Are there any of you here in the audience? So I do see a few hands. And Anuttama ji also welcome. You must have come here, I'm sure, many times. So we thought we'll also give a little background about the relevance of Auroville in today's discussions, deliberations. When India got her freedom, Sri Aurobindo, in a celebrated speech, which was actually broadcast at that time, on that day, from All India Radio Tiruchirappalli. Unfortunately, it was not in his voice, but it was actually broadcast by one of the announcers there. He spoke about the 5 dreams and also mentions that it's not a coincidence that his birthday happens to be the day that India finally got her freedom from the temporary, the colonial clutches that had come. Otherwise, this great country cannot be tamed and cannot be kept in shackles of any kind of slavery or any kind of binding of that kind. And in that spirit, he spoke of 5 dreams that he thought which were very powerful. Of course, he was not for the partition of India. He was absolutely not for it, and spoke of the first dream of a free and united India, where he really thought the whole of the Brihat Bharat. And if you see the playground, the picture or the map of India there that you see is of the Brihat Bharat. That mother used to very, very courageously, boldly sit there and actually profess. So he also speaks about the resurgence of Asia, which we are seeing beautifully now as the play of events, as the world is really getting unraveled in the course of events that history is witnessing. We're all here. Of the spiritual gift of India to the world. And this is particularly relevant in this journey towards Amrit Kal, the last few miles as we reach the 100th year of this current milestone. This is a long history with a lot of milestones, very significant ones. And in that context, the importance of really synthesizing. We've seen that mere abundance and mere achievements on the material front, technology front, scientific front, while they are absolutely important, and India is leaving no stone unturned, as the Honorable Prime Minister recently said, that kam dam bahut dam ke saath. So with the result, we are now pushing ourselves to make sure that whatever on the material front too, we are ensuring that quality is absolutely respected with cost effectiveness, which is a hallmark of India. But to make this really sustainable, we need to ensure that this element, which is almost like a USP of Bharat, consciousness, Sachet, how is it that we blend and synthesize consciousness into all that we do? So that was what he mentioned as a 3rd gift of India. Of course, the 4th gift dream that he speaks is of a new world union, and the 5th is of actually something which was very close to his heart. He was a thorough rational, Sri Aurobindo, and in fact he realized the limits of the human mind, because if mind could really give solutions today with all the progress that we've made, why is it that we still have problems of starvation? Why do we still have problems of health? When we have solutions to a lot of these things, we still have a lot of population across the world dying of diseases for which way much ahead of time we have got the solutions. So which means that just mere mental, rational, intellectual developments alone are not going to solve. He spoke of something beyond, and the topic closest to his heart in that context, if you see a hierarchy in his dreams as well, was of a new evolution. He did speak of the evolution in some ways, what the Darwinian theory, which we also refer to as the Dashavatara, which far predates all of this. But he also says that we as human beings are also work in progress, and we are still increasingly guided by the faculty called the mind, which is given a lot of importance. The importance given to it is important. Just as he said, it is the Panchakosha approach. Every dimension of the body is important. But he said we have to go beyond the mind to another dimension of silence, where we will have inspiration and where we will have higher order powers which will guide us and so on. So this city of Auroville, also called Usha Nagari, the city of dawn, because Auro also means dawn. It's also named after Sri Aurobindo. And today it's also very special because yesterday we celebrated, or rather paid our homage on the death anniversary of another great giant who lived in this part of India, who has been a great contributor to India and the world. Mahakavi, as our honorable chairman often says, it's not good to, label him only as a Mahakavi. He was much more than that, Sri Subramanya Bharati ji. And there's a very special connect that he and Sri Aurobindo had, sitting right here next to where we are in Pondicherry. They taught each other, shared a lot, two great sons of India, two great giants in a holistic way, in different dimensions. And if you see the influence that each of them has had on the other, including Sri Aurobindo, as you all know, for a long time his father was an Anglophile and didn't want even the Chhatra Chaya of India to fall on his son, and he had packed him off to England to be educated. But then what really destiny has to do, and existence has its way, the divine has its way of making things happen with a vengeance. When he came back, he not only mastered several languages, in addition to the languages he had mastered while he studied in Europe and in England at that time, he also spent a lot of considerable time mastering Tamil. In fact, many of the compositions of Andal he has translated, including some of the works like Kuilpad, etc. He has translated into English, and I have had the privilege of reading some of them. So in that context, Auroville holds a special significance. While we are all here, and as was mentioned by Sarupda, there would be many others also watching these proceedings in other parts of India and the world. And we would really earnestly request all of you to understand the significance of Auroville in that context. Nearly 58 years ago, when this was founded, Mother had actually given the Auroville Charter. While there is a lot mentioned in it, there are about only in all 4 bullet points, which is enshrined in the act which eventually happened. This had a bit of a checkered history, and it's in the 1980s, late 1980s, that there was an act of parliament which unanimously was passed, one of the last bills in that session of parliament, I'm told. And this bill was unanimously passed. And this is perhaps, and I would like researchers like Arindamji and all to also delve on this, perhaps this is the only act in India which has a reference to the word divine. Because even the constitution, I believe there was a lot of debate on whether the word God and divine should be there. But perhaps that again reflects the divisive nature of our own brothers and sisters sometimes when it comes to adopting and professing something which we understand is absolutely the Sanatan Satya, to have the courage to profess it. Sometimes we do develop cold feet. So while you have a country like America, which in every dollar bill says, "In God we trust," but India for some reason didn't decide to profess this. It was not mentioned. But this act talks of, there's a sentence, there's a reference to the charter in the preamble of this act, and where she says, "But to live in Auroville, we have to be willing servitors of divine consciousness." So there is a very bold and a very clear, loud reference to not just divinity, but divine consciousness. But if we look at what this was meant to be, it was a very beautiful idea of a new city on earth, because again, this concept of what is patriotism, what is nationalism, what is internationalism. When you love your country or your motherland just because it's your motherland, that is patriotism. But when you love it because of an ideology, there is this element of nationalism. So the core guiding principle of what is the identifying unit, the unique identifier USP of Bharat is the fact that we respect that divinity which is there in every human being, every non-living object, everything. That is the basis of Sanatana Dharma. It's that spark of divinity there in you, me, and everything and everybody, every creature. So that reverence and respect, which is the most key essence of what our culture really has bequeathed to us. In that spirit, this township was founded on that, the basis of Sanatan Dharma, to say that we respect everybody. And that is where Sri Aurobindo finally goes on to say that if that is the essence, even national boundaries do not stop it, because it's the same divinity which is there in everything, every being, every mountain, river across this planet. And that is how the concept of internationalism, world unity, all the three dreams towards the end that he mentions, they all encompass this idea. So this town was actually very carefully planned, visualized. She was only 90 years young in that period, mother, when she was trying to visualize, conceptualize this town based on the direct action of Sri Aurobindo, and she never compromised for mediocrity. She had some of the best architects from across the world. This was meant to be, and it has the form of a galaxy. But it's also called, there is a reference to this in the Bhrigu Samhita, we are given to understand, and the reference is referred to as Padmapuri. So it's like a lotus which is twirling and opening up, which is what a galaxy also looks like. And it was meant to be a place where there would be about 50,000 people from across the world with all the diversity actually living here. And this path to attaining that essence of human unity, often as Sri Aurobindo says, the path to heaven, I'm paraphrasing it, is dotted with all kinds of challenges which bring out all that hell can have. So we have been seeing, when this becomes also a museum of seeing all kinds of possible conflicts that may have happened right from its inception, because what we are striving to seek is not something pedestrian, it's not something ordinary, but it's the ultimate human unity. And in that sense, in recent years, we want to fervently reach out to each one of you here. We are also in the process, Vikram, one of our young friends from the ashram, Jaya, they are all here. Jaya is, of course, she is the one who's been setting up the Unity Pavilion. She's right here from the 70s, if I'm right. So we have many elders. As our Honorable Chairman in the last Governing Board also mentioned, you see, we hugely respect, admire, and we are absolutely grateful to our Honorable Chairman and the Honorable Governor of Tamil Nadu. And I think he really stands tall in terms of the courage, his conviction for truth and compassion. All of this rolled into one, and somebody who's thoroughly, who understands, who's read, who inspires us all the time. So he did mention that we must also have a group of elders from diverse backgrounds, but connected with Sri Aurobindo and the Mother, who can also be a kind of sounding board for us from time to time as we go. So today we want to seek this opportunity also to knock and to request each one of you here to see how we can take this dream of Sri Aurobindo, which is what? The dream has been crystallized from the plane of trance visualization. It has been brought to the plane of ideation, and now it's getting crystallized, manifested on the ground, the way it has been incorporated into a form by the Mother. And in that spirit, we really want all of you to be associated with Auroville in different ways, reach out to people so that more and more people from across the world who really are aspiring, there's a very great hunger in them for this kind of a life divine. And basically the idea is to set up a Gnostic community which will be a beacon, a lighthouse to really solve all the problems that the world today, the chaos, the tumult, the confusion in the world, we have to go beyond all of that, which is primarily from the dimension of the intellect. So in that context, we want to welcome you all to reach out to more and more people and have more and more people come here as visitors, volunteers, interns, and eventually think of actually staying here, contributing to Auroville in many ways. In recent times, we've also, under the leadership of our governing board and the extremely positive and very, very huge support, generous support we're getting from Government of India, and also the support from the government of Tamil Nadu and Pondicherry, we are in the process of setting up an Auroville IIT Sustainability Campus also here, which will again, so Mother wanted this to be a place of bold researchers from within and without. So while she wanted us to be anchored in the ancient wisdom of India, but the charter also says Auroville wants to be the bridge between the past and the future, taking advantage of all discoveries from without and from within. Auroville will boldly spring towards future realizations. So we want to see that all these ideas which are incorporated in the charter get implemented, manifested, and that Auroville will be a site of material and spiritual researches for a living embodiment of actual human unity. So on that note, as I conclude, I want to express my gratitude to the Maulana Abdul Kalam Institute, which has actually helped organize, curate today's program, and request Arindamji to have more and more such forums here where we can get in intellectuals, leaders of thought, word, action from different fields. It could be academia, it could be agriculture, it could be industry, business, you name it, sports. After all, India is, Sri Aurobindo talked of wholesome and integral development. If they can all be from music, art, culture, if they can all come here and slowly realize what is the magnificent inheritance that we have been that has been bequeathed to us. And if we can do this even at periodicity of maybe once a month and so on, I think it would help greatly. I also want to thank Anirbanji for all his support over the years and see how using all the networks that we have nationally, how this can be this exercise of really disseminating something beautiful, which is unparalleled. Nowhere in the world has the government and the people of that country, the communities, actually come forward with open hands, hearts and heads to really welcome people from all over the world to come together and participate in a sandbox of really creating something new, which is anchored, the building blocks of it are human unity, to try and see how we can create in any walk of life. So in Auroville, we have about 750 entities, units. We make anything from solar energy. We are net positive today, to some of the best chocolates and confectionery, to incense sticks, garments, sustainable garments that breathe. So you can also, if you get some time, we have an entity here called Swaram, which makes music instruments. In fact, the world's biggest chimes that you find at the Bangalore airport and so on are all handcrafted by our sisters and brothers of Auroville, including the villages in the neighborhood. So this is not only a pride for the entire world, but of course for Bharat and also for Tamil Nadu and Pondicherry, because this is something that belongs to all of us. And we certainly encouragement for this grand dream, unparalleled, that has been given to us by Sri Aurobindo, our Lord and the Mother. Namaste. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for your address. Now I would like to request our keynote speaker, Dr. Anirban Ganguly, Chairman and Trustee, Dr. Shyama Prasad Mukherjee Research Foundation, for his valuable address.
Honorable Governor of Tamil Nadu, His Excellency Thiru R.N. Raviji, Dr. Jayanti Ravi, Secretary, Auroville Foundation, my very dear friend Arindam, and Dr. Swarup Prasad Ghosh, I really express my deep gratitude for this invitation that you have extended to me. And primarily it was accepted because of my attraction for having an opportunity to be in the presence of His Excellency. And therefore I doubly thank you, Arindam, for giving me this privilege twice, once in Chennai and again today in Pondicherry. And I'm feeling extremely charged. I go back with my batteries charged as well. Now I have a dilemma. The dilemma is that I have to speak before an audience, many of whom I have known since I was in kindergarten. And so therefore, my association with this place goes back to 47 years. And therefore, that's a dilemma, what to speak and how to speak, because I'll be measured on what I say. The other profound dilemma is that you have asked me to give a keynote address in front of a personality who has the key and has all the notes. And therefore, I do not know whether in the presence of His Excellency,
I really have the adhikara to deliver a keynote, but I shall just give you a few notes because ultimately it is he who's going to give us the keys. And we are all waiting to listen to him. And there's one more point that I want to make, one more observation that I want to make, which is a little personal in nature. That Chairman Auroville Foundation and His Excellency is a walking university on India's northeast and on North Bengal. And he is the embodiment, he embodies and radiates all that he says. And so therefore, I think it's a very symbolic occasion to be here together in Auroville and to deliberate on this very futuristic and a very topical subject. 75 years of the Indian Republic, milestone, challenges and future horizons. I'll just make a few observations. The first milestone is that we have a Constitution Day today. 26th November 1949, the Constituent Assembly adopted the Constitution. But from 1949 to 2015, there was no Constitution Day. And Prime Minister Modi designated 26th November as the Constitution Day. And since then, in 2015, and since then we have been observing it. To instill pride, to instill a sense of freedom, to instill the conviction that freedom has to be protected, it is essential that we commemorate the Constitution and its deeper values, and therefore the first milestone is to have a Constitution Day. As I stand here, I was just putting together a few thoughts. It's very interesting that two members of the Constituent Assembly were very close to Sri Aurobindo. One we know was K.M. Munshi, member of the drafting committee, founder of Bharatiya Vidya Bhavan, was a Sri Aurobindo student in Baroda. And he was, as Union Agriculture Minister in July 1950, was perhaps the last Union Minister to have a private meeting with Sri Aurobindo. And the other personality who was a member of the Constituent Assembly, he was a member of the Advisory Committee on Fundamental Rights, Minorities and Tribals and Excluded Areas, was Dr. Shyama Prasad Mukherjee. Was inspired by Sri Aurobindo through and through, youngest Vice Chancellor of Calcutta University, and more importantly for us, mother chose him. Not many in Auroville, not many in Pondicherry or even in India would know. But even amongst Sri Aurobindonians, there are very few who know that mother specially designated him to be chairman of the Sri Aurobindo Memorial Convention, which went on to create the Sri Aurobindo International Center of Education. So it's very interesting, the link that both these personalities had with Sri Aurobindo, and Sri Aurobindo was there on 26th November 1949, physically present when the Constitution was adopted. Now I shall designate a few more milestones very quickly. One is the milestones as tribute to the Constitution framers. When we are talking about 75 years of the Republic, let us give our tribute to the Constitution and framers. So the first milestone is the National Education Policy. It is, and its advocacy of education in the mother tongue, which Prime Minister Narendra Modi says is a new form of social justice. The National Education Policy and its approach to languages, and His Excellency has a number of very inspiring speeches on it, and a very inspiring stand that he has taken on the National Education Policy and on languages in general. The National Education Policy is a tribute to Sri Aurobindo, who knew 12 languages, to Rabindranath Tagore, to Mahakavi Subramanya Bharati, and to Kulapati Munshi. During his early years, Jayanti ji, you pointed out, during his early years in Pondicherry, the Mahayogi and the Mahakavi would have conversations. And both of them, and this is historian P. Raja who says it is not concocted history. So both of them, being well versed in Sanskrit, came together to study the Vedas and the Upanishads, and the result was the birth of Vachana Kavithaigal in Tamil. And Sri Aurobindo learned Tamil language with the help of Mahakavi, and he translated, as you said. And Mahakavi learnt Bangla with the help of Sri Aurobindo and translated Rabindranath Tagore's poems. So, linguistic richness and diversity, as PM says, although India has an array of established languages, they were presented as a sign of backwardness, and those who could not speak English were neglected and their talents were not recognized. As a result, children of the rural areas remained most affected, but the country has now begun to shun this belief. Prime Minister Narendra Modi, while talking about the shared heritage of languages, says all languages in India were mainstream languages, and it is our responsibility to enrich and embrace languages. No conflict at all. In fact, Suniti Kumar Chatterjee, one of the greatest linguists, had one of his greatest books was on Dravidians, brought out by the Annamala University in 1964. And Suniti Kumara, he was called in Tamil, he was given a special name in Tamil, Nanneri Murugan. And on the other hand, Hindi Vachaspati, he was given the title of Hindi Vachaspati in 1949. So I think, when we listen to His Excellency speak very boldly and strongly on the richness of Indian languages, these are the historical events that support us. The next tribute, milestone to framer of the Constitution, is the vision and the actuality and the reality of one nation, one Constitution. It is one of the profoundest tributes to Dr. Shyama Prasad Mukherjee, who, as Prime Minister Narendra Modi said, this 15th August, was the first great personality of the nation to sacrifice his life for the Constitution of Bharat. His sacrifice for the Constitution, the removal of the wall of Article 370, and the realization of the mantra of one nation, one Constitution have been our true tribute to Dr. Shyama Prasad Mukherjee. Close quotes, 15th August 2025. This is what Prime Minister said. And I would invite you to go through his debates. In fact, in one very strong debate in Parliament on August 7th, 1952, in the first Lok Sabha, he tells Sheikh Abdullah, who was a party to this constitution, did he not agree to accept this constitution in the relation to the rest of India and including 497 states? If it is good enough for all of them, why should it not be good enough for him in Kashmir? So I think the struggle to preserve, to expand, to establish the values, the spirit and the essence of the Constitution was an ongoing struggle, and therefore it is a tribute. One nation, one Constitution is a tribute to those who thought it necessary to make the supreme sacrifice to ensure that India is not fragmented or balkanized further. I do not have the time to get into all the details, but I would also like to mention not only Shyama Prasad Mukherjee, Sardar Patel and Dr. B.R. Ambedkar, Baba Saheb B.R. Ambedkar also supported the removal of Article 370 and the implementation of one Constitution, one nation. And today you see enhanced connectivity, you see fundamental rights being applicable in Jammu and Kashmir, you see reservations being applicable in Jammu and Kashmir, you see how grassroots democracy is thriving in Jammu and Kashmir despite challenges, 51% participation in the local elections that took place in J&K. Another tribute to the framers of the Constitution and an achievement in the 75 years of Republic. Please connect all these as achievements and milestones in the 75 years of the Republic, is empowering the most marginalized. When we talk of 25 crore people escaping multidimensional poverty, when we see the index of deprivation, the deprivation index reducing, and when we see that reaching potable water, drinking water saves the lives annually of 60 to 70,000 infant lives, when we see that around 78% of rural households in India for the first time are connected with tap water and water connection, I think more than slogans, more than tributes, this is a most fundamental tribute to a personality like Dr. Baba Saheb Ambedkar. 4 lakh diarrheal deaths are being avoided because of this huge effort that is being made. We see the resurrection of Nalanda University. We see the status of classical language that Prime Minister has conferred on Pali. And after 127 years, Lord Buddha's relics, the Pipravaha gem relics, after 127 years, these relics were being auctioned in Hong Kong, mind you. These relics were brought back by through the special initiative of Prime Minister Modi. So I think this entire gamut, empowering the marginalized, and Vikas bhi or Virasat bhi, development and protection of our heritage and inheritance, is also a tribute to our framers of the Constitution. You are very rightly, Honorable His Excellency has pointed out India as the mother of democracy. In fact, Prime Minister Modi, when he launched the G20 presidency, spoke about the need to establish India as the mother of democracy. He says, India contributes to the foundational DNA of democracy, and as India's national consensus is forged not by diktat, by blending of millions of free voices. Sri Aurobindo supports that. Sri Aurobindo in his, it's an echo of what Sri Aurobindo wrote in his essays on the Renaissance in India. Sri Aurobindo talks about the legend of Indian political incompetence. He says there was a strong democratic element in Indian polity, and even institutions that present a certain analogy to the parliamentary form existed in India. So India, the mother of democracy, is a theme that we need to constantly not only explore but to disseminate. We need to continue doing that. The Uttaramerur inscriptions in Tamil Nadu, not very far from here, which late Dr. Nagaswamy says an outstanding document in the history of India. And he says it is a veritable written constitution of the village assembly that functioned 1,000 years ago. The Chola period saw the first written constitution of India in the form of the Uttaramerur inscriptions. And the disqualifications for an elected representatives, as enjoined by those inscriptions, were far more severe and is illustrative of the great care that Chola society attached to moral values and conduct in public life. So we should be proud, we should project this, the Uttaramerur inscriptions. And we saw the grand spectacle. Not only it was loaded with symbolism, the manner in which Prime Minister came to Gangaikonda Cholapuram. All of us who have grown up in Pondicherry studied here. We are well versed with Gangaikonda Cholapuram. His Excellency was there. It was a deep symbolic moment to remember the contribution of Rajaraja and Rajendra Chola, one of the greatest monarchs not only of India but globally, with a global vision. Friends, there's a new dimension which has been introduced and which we need to dwell on in a very systematic way. Prime Minister says that we are a Kartavya Adharit Loktantra, a democracy of duties. And he has termed the next 25 years, which is Amrit Kal, as Kartavya Kal. In fact, as Gurumurthy in one of his papers reminds us that when H.G. Wells approached Mahatma Gandhi for the Human Duties Declaration, the Human Rights Declaration, Mahatma Gandhi said, no, but we want a Human Duties Declaration first also. And Deendayal Upadhyay speaks about democracy, Lok Adhikar, Lokatantra, is a means for upholding Loka Adhikar, people's right, and promoting Loka Kartavya. So therefore, friends, when we are talking about the 75 years of Indian Republic, we must leave behind the mindset of being only a rights-based democracy. We should also look at ourselves as a duty, as a kartavya-based lokatantra. Finally, you speak about challenges, but the challenges can, I will request you to look at the 11 resolutions that Prime Minister spoke to us on 26th November last year. the challenges before the Indian Republic can be understood, can be examined against the 11 resolutions that he placed before the nation in Parliament. The first resolution, and I just want you to, keep it in mind, to go back, to look at it again, to examine it, juxtapose it, contextualize it in the challenges that we are facing today. The first resolution were the citizens of the government all must fulfill their duties. The second resolution, every region, every community must benefit from development, ensuring sabka saath, sabka vikas. The third resolution, there must be zero tolerance towards corruption and there should be no social acceptance of corrupt individuals. The fourth resolution, citizens of the country should feel proud of adhering to the laws, rules and traditions of the nation. Fifth resolution, we must be free from the mindset of slavery and take pride in our heritage. The sixth resolution, the country's politics must be free from dynastic rule. Seventh resolution, the constitution should be respected and it should not be used as a tool for political gain. Eighth resolution, while upholding the spirit of the constitution, the rights of those receiving reservations should not be taken away and all attempts to create reservation based on religion should be stopped. Ninth resolution, Bharat must become a global example of woman-led development. 10th resolution, a very important resolution. Development of states should lead to the development of the nation. This should be our mantra for progress. And the last, the 11th resolution, the goal of Ek Bharat, Shrestha Bharat must remain secure. So you can yourself discover the challenges and you have the way ahead through these 11 resolutions. Broadly, it's a framework. And therefore, friends, I would like to invite you to dwell on these. And especially such an occasion is an ideal gathering, an ideal ambience to get deeper into the subject. Sri Aurobindo says, he describes the new nationalism. He says the new nationalism cries to all to come forth, to help in God's work and remake a nation. Each with what his creed or his culture, his strength, his manhood or his genius can give to the new nationality. The only qualification it asks, the new nationalism asks, the only qualification it asks is a heart that can feel for India, a brain that can think and plan for her greatness, a tongue that can adore her name, and hands that can fight in her quarrel. The goal is to lead India in Amrit Kal as a Vishwamitra towards becoming Atmanirbhar, Samriddha and Vikasit by 2047. That will be a true tribute to the essence and the spirit of our republic and the constitution. Thank you so much for being so patient. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, sir. Now, before I request Honorable Governor for his address, a small brief about Honorable Governor. Thiru Aran Ravi was born in Patna, Bihar, and he did his masters in physics in 1974. After a brief stint in journalism, he joined the Indian Police Service in 1976 and was allotted to Kerala cadre. He served in Kerala in various capacities, including district for over a decade, and then in different parts of the countries in various capacities. While in the Intelligence Bureau, Ministry of Home Affairs, Government of India, the premier intelligence agency of the country, he served largely in the theatres of insurgency and violence, including in Jammu and Kashmir, the Northeast, the most infected regions. He also specialized in the dynamics of human migration in South Asia and worked extensively on the political sociology of broader population. He was appointed as a chairman of a joint intelligence committee in the Prime Minister's office, where as a head of the intelligence community, he continued to guide the agencies to meet the national security needs of the country. He served as a governor of Nagaland from August 1st, 2019 to 16 September 2021. he has been appointed as a governor of Tamil Nadu by Honorable President of India and assumed the office as 26th Governor of Tamil Nadu on 18 September 2021. So I would like to request now Honorable Governor for his valuable address, sir.
Dignitaries on the dais, Dr. Jayanti Ravi, Dr. Anirban Ganguly, Sri Arinda Mukherjee, Dr. Swarup Prasad Ghosh, all the distinguished participants, gracious ladies and gentlemen, I am truly delighted to be part of this event, which is slated to assess the 75-year journey of our republic, how it has traversed these years, 7.5 decades, and what are the goals, the future that it has to strive for. I am delighted that it is being held at Auroville. It is a place where an attempt is being made to actualize the dream of Sri Aurobindo. We know Sri Aurobindo was in the series of great rishis of our country, Bharat, since the time of Vedas. A very, very luminous sun in that galaxy of rishis, who understood the essence which the Vedic rishis had revealed, that the entire creation is a family. The Vyashti, Samashti and Srishti are all integrally connected, and the Parameshti, the Ishvara, Parameshwara, permeates in every element of it. And so the whole world is a family, Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. So his dream was to have an experiment, a place where the people from any nationality, any part of the world, cutting across the divide which the humans have created, people could come, live together as brothers and sisters, live together, work together, strive together to the higher goals of life and creation, as an example for the whole of the world. So this Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, which is the foundational principle of Bharat, that is the foundational principle of Auroville also. And when we get together and try to assess, evaluate the journey of our republic, which place could be more appropriate than this one? I am happy that the organizers choose this place, and Auroville Foundation has, as ever, happily collaborated with this. Friends, when we try to assess 75 years of journey of our republic, how do we assess it? What are the metrics on which we are judging where we have reached, what we have achieved, what we have not achieved? We know a republic is an institution created by people of Bharat for the good of Bharat, which eventually leads to the good of the world. Republic is not Bharat. Republic is an institution. Many times our people confuse, and the Bharat, it goes in the background. So when we are assessing the 75 years of our journey, of our republic, I would like to place it in two segments. From the birth of republic till 2014, and second phase is after 2014. Now when a republic was created by the people of Bharat, republic was given a task, and the task is well documented, explicitly documented in the constitution. What were these tasks? Against which we need to judge where we have reached, how we have fared. It says that republic is created to ensure that every citizen of Bharat has access to justice, social justice, economic justice, political justice. Republic is created to ensure that every citizen of Bharat is treated equal in status and opportunity. Republic of Bharat was created to ensure that people of Bharat live in fraternity, harmoniously together. And integrity and unity of Bharat is strengthened. These were the spelled out objectives, goals set for the Republic. Now let us recollect. How did we fare? How did Republic fare? Come to social justice. Justice, social justice, economic justice, political justice. Come to social justice. Every now and then, we read in the newspapers that there are people, we read here in our state, that a section of our people, our Dalits, off and on, they are beaten up in a village for walking a particular path. They are beaten up for wearing footwears. In classrooms, there are walls which segregates the students in schools. And in some cases, when I read the paper news, I got the news. I said I would visit the school. And when I visited, before I visited, they broke the wall. But I'm sure it hasn't gone away from the mind. So why and how come a large section of our people are yet deprived of social justice? When it comes to economic justice, when Bharat became independent, we were the 6th largest economy in the world. When at the time of colonization, we were the number 1. And we dropped down to 6th. But until 2014, what happened? What has been the journey of Republic? By 2014, Bharat became the 11th economy. We dropped down. Bharat became much, much poorer. 30% of our people, over 30% of our people were living in absolute poverty. And you know what absolute poverty is? When an individual, a person, is denied of the basics to ensure a dignified living. A house, a roof over the head, food to eat, clothes to wear, drinking water, access to drinking water, basic eminent. If the person falls sick, medicines to treat. Now, for 75 years, which means 3 generations, for those people, what is the meaning of republic? We all talk big. All the values enshrined in the Constitution. The promises made to the people of Bharat. But when you look at those people who for 75 years have been denied, and I would say 75 years, I would say till 2014, at least economic justice. Now what is the situation today? Post 2014, post after Narendra Modi as a Prime Minister of Bharat when he took over. As far as economic justice is concerned, our poverty, which was over 30%, has come down to 4% in just about a decade. 25 crores people have been lifted out of poverty. When it comes to the health care, 41 crore Ayushman card has ensured universal health coverage. No one is left out. At the time, 2014, more than half of Bharat was in darkness, no access to electricity. Today electricity is reaching saturation. Half the country had no access to drinking water. Today it is nearing saturation. Over 4 crores people who were homeless have got homes. Nearly 60% of our people were going for open defecation. Our mothers, sisters, daughters had to suffer the indignity and also insecurity. Today, every house, we are open defecation free, every house has a toilet. So you see the journey of Republic in the last 10, 11 years and journey of Republic which was there before. If you look at political justice, what is political justice? Is it merely just you go and cast the vote, everyone has one vote? If that is so, how come we are at a situation where the people are made to sell their votes for a bottle of liquor or maybe some cash? How come there are people who are not permitted to go and cast their votes? We know there are our state, there are areas where how much violence comes and people are prevented to go and cast their vote. So when it comes to justice, how we have fared, it needs to be assessed. When we talk about equality, right to equality is a fundamental right guaranteed in the Constitution. But is it right really available? Is it not a common knowledge? We all know that justice is a marketable commodity. A person who has money gets the justice. A poor person is denied the justice. More money you have, there is a fair chance that you will get it. Is justice affordable? So when we say 75 years down the line, when we are assessing the status of Republic and promises made by the Republic to the people of Bharat, where are we? Fraternity? If you look at, there is an unfortunate disjoint. Until we became independent, how the people of Bharat lived together? Was there ever linguistic rights. Ever, they may say today, with a short memory, but I don't recall in this 1,000 year of period of invasion, foreign invasion, subjugation and colonization, ever people of Bharat fought with each other. People. In the name of language, in the name of ethnicity, in the name of region. Now what happened after Republic was born? Until 2014, nearly half the country, there was almost a civil war-like situation. Northeast, people were killing each other. People versus people, one ethnic group versus other ethnic group. Security forces versus people. Jammu and Kashmir, it was all peaceful. But then it erupted, violence erupted. Lakhs and lakhs of Hindus and Sikhs were forced to leave the place. Thousands and thousands of people were killed. Nearly 200 districts of our country, gun-toting Maoists had the free run. They ran their own parallel governments. Terrorists could strike at will any city or any iconic institutions in our country. And 5,000 to 6,000 of our people, Indian citizens, including nearly 800 to 1,000 security force personnel, used to die every year. What happened? What happened that the people who were living harmoniously together, with coming of Republic, they started killing each other. Now, after 2014, things changed. The Northeast is now a story of peace and progress. We don't hear people, one ethnic community fighting the other one. We don't hear armed insurgents fighting the state. Northeast is a story of peace and progress. Northeast is scripting the story of Viksit Bharat. They are building semiconductor chips. Mega international events are being hosted there. Jammu and Kashmir, peaceful. Occasional incidents may happen. But in terms of economy, in terms of infrastructure, in terms of tourist visit, in terms of democracy from the grassroots upward, it is thriving. Maoists who had practically captured the whole heartland of this country, 200 districts, they are shrunk to just less than 1 dozen, and they are counting days. Terrorism, by and large, country is free. But till 2014, what happened that since the birth of Republic till 2014, all these development, all these problems continued multiplying. When it comes to our nation's integrity, why did we have to lose almost half of Jammu and Kashmir? We allowed Pakistan to grab it and keep it. We were capable of taking it back without much difficulty because we were far more stronger at the time when Pakistan captured it. But we didn't do that. Instead, we went to a third party, pleading for mediation. An open and shut case, Jammu and Kashmir, part of Bharat, was made a disputed place. United Nations Military Observer Group was stationed in Srinagar until Prime Minister Modi came and wound it up. They had to wind up and go. About 30,000 square kilometer. When China grabbed it, at that time China was not a military power at all. China was far, far more vulnerable. But we chose to suppress the fact from the people. We just ignored it. In 70s, Kachadivu Island, which was the main source of livelihood of our fishermen, part of Bharat's territory, was given away to Sri Lanka, creating a perennial crisis of livelihood for our fishermen. Whenever Pakistan, and which they did very often, inflicted terror attacks, why didn't we teach them a lesson? Why did we make our military solely dependent on foreign supplies? Why didn't we make defense wares? So when it comes to the nation's unity and integrity, systematically we kept losing and ignoring the losses, at times giving away. Why did all these things happen? And what did Prime Minister Modi did? We know for the terror attack, what happened when 26/11 and what happened after Pahalgam attack. 26/11, within 9 months, we know the whole country was total embarrassment, anger, humiliation that a handful of Pakistani terrorists, they kept the whole city hostage, the whole country hostage. And within 9 months, our Prime Minister goes and meets the Prime Minister of Pakistan and signs an MOU. Terrorism is an international problem and both countries are victims of terrorism. It was a shameful day. But then, that is how they looked at the country. We know what we have witnessed when Pakistan did in Pahalgam, what cost they had to pay. Was it possible for Bharat to have Operation Sindoor before? I would emphatically say no. Before Prime Minister Modi, it was not possible. Because our political leaders lacked the guts. They were afraid of nuclear blackmail of Pakistan. They were weak. They were not aware of the strength of this Bharat as a Rashtra. Our military was solely dependent on supply from the foreign. Operation Sindoor demonstrated what self-reliant military can do in a short and swift war. Not only we destroyed the terrorist infrastructure, their headquarters, their training camps, their barracks, but also completely incapacitated Pakistan's military capacity to strike back and forced Pakistan to sue peace, have ceasefire. This new journey of republic that began in 2014, what was before, what was different before, and what happened after 2014? What is the new thing that Prime Minister Modi brought, and what is his magic? Bharat, which was born at least 5,000 years ago, as a Rashtra, on the drishti, the outlook, the philosophy, that we are all members of one family. Diversity became a celebration. Like million leaves of a tree, no two leaves are alike. Hundreds of branches of the tree, no two branches are alike. And yet, away from the tree, these leaves and branches have no existence. They are all integrally connected. This view, this philosophy, translated into our day-to-day life, with the hard work of our rishis since the time of Rig Veda, that created Bharat. They created institutions all over Bharat, which they might have, each institution might be falling in the territory of a particular king, but it did not belong to that king, it belonged to whole Bharat. It's entirely a new evolution, a new experiment. Diversity as a celebration. This was the foundational principle of Bharat when it says Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. But after Republic came into being, and the people, those who started running the Republic, they turned this diversity into differences. This turning diversity into differences, and then we started looking at differences. And the strength, the force, the glue that kept us together, that was systematically ignored. In our discussion, we gave a lot of emphasis nation state, but Rashtra was forgotten. In our outlook, dharma is a way. We know it very well. There could be hundreds of religions, but there is only one dharma. And that dharma is a Sanatan dharma that says that we are all members of one family. There is no concept of pagan, there is no concept of kafir. We are all members of one family. You have your ways, another person has one's way, nevertheless we are all members of a family. But unfortunately, systematically, people, those who ran the Republic, who conducted the affairs of Republic, they changed their outlook. They ignored Bharat. In fact, there was a divorce between Rashtra and the Republic. And our first Prime Minister is on record saying that my biggest challenge is to create a secular state in a profoundly dharmic society. So a conflict began between the society and the Republic, which represents the state. And so they started turning away from the vital element, the force of the Rashtra. Dharma was replaced by religion. Sarvamat Sambhav, with equal respect to all, was replaced by Dharma Nirpekshata. Turn your face away. You know, the positive concept and the negative concept. The positive concept, yes, you are all. Equal respect to all and equal distance for all, there is a world of difference between the two. Politics of appeasement. We know how people from East Pakistan and then from Bangladesh were systematically encouraged to infiltrate into Bharat in Assam and Bengal by the governments of the time, because they looked at them as their electoral assets. They infiltrated, they continued infiltrating, and they have reached a stage where the whole demography is so heavily changed, so heavily distorted, that is scary. Because the people, those who came from East Pakistan and Bangladesh, those who infiltrated, they brought with them a kind of a cultural chemistry which did not gel with the cultural chemistry of Bharat. Cultural chemistry of Bharat is we are all one. There is no difference. We are diverse, but we are not different. But those who come with the notion of kafir, that no, you cannot. You are different, we are different. There is no question of meeting. On that very ground, this nation was partitioned. And those very people now coming in large number are changing the demography. It is manifested, sadly, we all watch it in what is happening in Bengal. Bengal, which was the fountainhead of national resurgence, from where we got Bande Mataram, which ignited the whole country for independence, which was the mantra, the slogan of our freedom fighters all through the national freedom movement. Bengal, which gave stalwarts like Gurudev, Sri Aurobindo, so many of them, you keep counting, there is no, you lose. Now that Bengal today, because of change in demography, and it has emasculated the pride of the society. It has dried the saps of the society. Today people are scared to talk about nation and nationalism. To talk about, if you talk about Bharat, there is huge protest, there is huge hue and cry. Someone would like to blame a particular leader that the leader, he or she, is exploiting it. Yes, as a politician, they will exploit. That is unfortunately the situation where we have come. But what happened to the society, Bengali society as such, which was once the pride of the whole Bharat, it is now trapped in a situation where it seems there is no coming out. What happened in Assam? This gradual, steady, silent demographic invasion has created such a major threat. The Assam is grappling, people of Assam are grappling with it. Simanchal, Bihar, all these Kishanganj, Araria, Purnia, Katihar, all these areas, the demography has completely changed the cultural landscape of this whole region, that it doesn't look like, apparently, part of Bharat. Why did we allow all these things to happen? Why did we allow these demographic invasions? We know that there was a very senior leader in Assam who publicly said, so long Alis and Coolies are with us, we have no problem. Alis means infiltrators, and Coolies means chai bagan, the tea garden workers, those who taken from the central India as a labor in the tea gardens of Assam. This divorce from Rashtra for selfish political gain and politics of appeasement, it has destroyed. In 2008, the then government, union government, had set up an administrative commission report. That commission report, which was accepted by the government of India, it was headed by Sri Virappa Moiliji. It says that in certain geography of Bharat, violence is inherent. I really wonder what kind of thinking these people had. Which geography of Bharat violence was inherent? What he referred mostly to the northeastern region. And I ask anyone, tell me before independence, one incident where people fought with each other. Not even one incident. There was nothing called violence embedded or inherent in our geography. When it comes to, they say about various conflict, like linguistic conflict and other conflict, he says conflict is inherent in a society. What does it mean? Are we serious? Those guys who did it, were they serious? When terrorists were attacking, off and on, a whole country was, we know under what seas we were living. People were afraid to go to the malls because no place was safe. And then the report on terrorism says, terrorism has been there since the time Roman Empire. Now, This was the outlook of the people who ran this republic, who conducted the affairs of republic. Completely divorced and devoid of the session of Rashtra, of the sense of Rashtra. And we became weaker and weaker and weaker. Sri Aurobindo beautifully described Bharat. What is Bharat? He says Bharat is a living energy of a profound spiritual conception. Profound spiritual conception given by our Vedic rishis that we are all one family. Not only humans, but plants and animals, we are all member of, each one of us is a member of one family. This profound spiritual conception, Bharat is the living energy. Where at the place where this spiritual conception, this Vedic truth, this Sanatan truth is practiced, is lived by, that energy that it creates, that is Bharat. And he further said, the existence and identity of Bharat depends on its loyalty, on her loyalty to this spiritual conception. If we are loyal to this Sanatan Dharma, the Vedic Dharma, Bharat is strong. If we are not loyal to it, if we are not practicing it in our day-to-day life, if we move away from it, Bharat will not survive. Bharat survived 1000 years of invasion, subjugation and colonization. Because this energy remained alive, though weakened. When Islamic invasion happened, we had a massive uprising growth of people. Those who took this profound spiritual conception through the marg of bhakti to the people. And we had people from this, and this originated from this beautiful land, Tamil land, given by our Nayanars and Alvars. And then you go to different parts of Bharat. Odisha, it was Jayadev. Bengal, it was Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Assam, it was Srimant Sankar Dev. Hindi heartland, it was Tulsidas. Kashmir, it was Lal Ded. Punjab, it was Guru Nanak. Gujarat, it was Narsingh Mehta. All over. Whole Bharat. People, they kept it. Those invaders kept destroying the institutions, but it lived in the heart of the people. Because this is what our great rishis did. But the way republic functions, the way it divides, for the first 65, 70 years, it kept dividing the people in the name of caste, in the name of language, in the case of the custom, cuisines, and region. All possible division. They kept dividing the people. You know, Bharat is like a fish. If you remove the scales, no two scales are exactly alike. Because this is the beauty of creation. No two are exactly alike. If you keep removing the scales, the fish dies. If you keep dividing society in name of caste, religion, language, custom, cuisines, then Bharat will not survive. The Republic has been betraying Bharat until Prime Minister Modi came. What he did? He looked Bharat the way our Vedic rishis looked. It is a kutumbam, a family. And when it is your family, when 140 crores of people are your family, can you say that, look, I will feed so many people, I will keep so many people starving? Can we do it in our family? Even in our small family? Whatever food we have, we try to distribute to all. The fact, if one falls sick, we can't say that you will treat one and will not treat the other. So when Prime Minister Modi completely imbibed and imbued with a sense of Rashtra as a family, as a kutumbam, when he launched these schemes, every individual who is a member of the family must have food to eat, must have a house, a roof over the head, must have access to the drinking water, must have electricity, must have access to cooking gas, must have ensured health care. And within 10 years, we have reached almost saturation. Open defecation, which people used to say it's a cultural issue, nobody even talked about it. Nobody bothered about the indignity and insecurity and great public health issue it created for our women. Today, in 10 years, open defecation, every house got the toilet. Because Modi looks at Bharat as a kutumba, a family, a parivar. This is a Rashtra Bodh. Rashtra is a parivar. Future of our republic determines on the course that we have chosen now, that we must continue looking Bharat as a family, as a Rashtra, as a kutumba. And we should not look at by the various diversities that we see which we need to celebrate. Look at the way Prime Minister Modi celebrates all the languages, all the cultures, all the festivals. Can anyone say that the amount of energy he has invested in preserving, promoting and glorifying Tamil language, anyone has done it? Tamil language, Tamil culture, Tamil heritage? No one has done it. People may have made politics out of it. But actual service to Tamil language, Tamil culture, Tamil heritage has been done by Prime Minister Modi. Not one or two, you keep counting. Beginning, installing the Sengol in the parliament, people had forgotten it. The witness to transfer of power, it happened from this land. It was a pride of the whole nation, but it was forgotten. Translating Tirukural in various languages, all the languages of Bharat and various languages of the world. Creating Tiruvalluvar Center, Cultural Center in Singapore. Tiruvalluvar Chair in Malaysia, Boston, USA. Promoting Tamil language in many countries like Fiji and all. A state-of-the-art research center for Tamil language, for classical Tamil, CICT was built by Modi. Subramaniam Bharati Chair in Banaras Hindu University for promotion of Tamil was done by him. Gangai Konda Cholapuram 1000-year celebration, which our friend Anirban Ganguly, he mentioned about it. He proudly. Whole world witnessed it, and he said he will build two magnificent statues of Rajaraja Chola and Rajendra Chola. This is the pride that it comes to you when you treat the family of you say anywhere, anything which is worth celebrating, you celebrate it. Our future and future of republic, which is so linked with the future of Bharat, depends on treating Bharat as a family, the way Prime Minister Modi has been doing. Now, challenges ahead. They are numerous. In governance, in the executive part of this, part of the republic, we have three pillars. Modi has done this, introduced it as a one family. And so all his policies are Bharat as a family. But this spirit has to permeate other pillars of our republic also. Our judiciary has been looking and interpreting the constitution largely from the Western perspective. Why didn't we look at Bharatiya jurisprudence? Our constitution never said that Bharat is a federation. No word, it says nobody. It says union. But it has been shifted to federation and drifting towards American federation. There is a world of difference between union. Union is Sangha. Sangha, every member of the Sangha is united together with a sense of familyhood. A common shared belief, a conviction that we are member of a family. That is union. It's not a federation. Bharat is not a federation, it is a union. But unfortunately, We have not taught in our law schools, law university, judicial academy, what is Bharatiya jurisprudence, what is Rashtra. There is a huge deficiency of Rashtra Bodh in our legal fraternity. As a result, we have been models, Westminster model. Western ideas, Western institutions became our role model. It became just emulating. They were our inspiration. At what cost? At the cost that we started looking at diversity as differences and started breaking, disintegrating. There is a great need for this sense of, if Constitution of Bharat has been given by the people of Bharat, and ultimate custodian of Constitution of Bharat are the people of Bharat, not any one pillar of our republic. They must have it in mind. It shouldn't be the arrogance that so-and-so is the custodian of Constitution. No. Ultimate custodian of Constitution are the people of Bharat. And you must have a sense of what is Bharat, what is Rashtra, and how Bharat survived, lived, thrived for all these 5,000 years. Western view is individualism. Bharatiya view is collectivism. Western view of looking at society is like a heap of sand grain, where every sand grain is autonomous, independent. It is just a collection of it. Bharatiya view is not. Bharatiya view is a living body, where every cell has its own uniqueness, but this cell is integrally, organically connected with the body. It does not exist beyond the body. The sense of togetherness we abandoned. It was all there in the Constitution. It's not that it is not there. It is there in the directive principles of state policy, but we didn't look at that side. We ignored those parts of it. And we kept accentuating, emphasizing on just individual liberty. This Western ideas and institutions which clouded our thinking. It kept us away from the Rashtra. It kept us, the distance between Rashtra and Republic, it continued growing. Fortunately, this gap is now narrowing after Prime Minister Modi came. We need to bridge the gap to zero. And it is the responsibility of all of us, not only all the institutions, all the pillars of Republic, but it's the responsibility of people of Bharat. We need to liberate the Constitution from the clutches of legal fraternity, take it to the people of Bharat, to whom it belongs, who has created it. Why it is that the Constitution has been made so complicated, that as if it is not understood, it's not intelligible to the common man? It was created by the people of Bharat for them. But no, you have created so much of a jargon that you have distanced it from the people of Bharat. It has to be taken to the people of Bharat. They are the one who have given it, and they are the one who are the ultimate custodian of it. And as Prime Minister Modi has demonstrated, that people of Bharat are intelligent, people of Bharat are wise, not like many politicians who think that you give them false promises at the time of election, give them freebies, just lay the foundation stone and sort of forget it. People of Bharat are intelligent, and they have proved it again and again. Yes, the reward, the performance, the leader who delivers. They trust the trustworthy leaders. This Bharat has to wake up, and it is our duty to wake up, to make this Bharat wake up. And the conference, the one-day seminar that we have today, I am very sure that a lot of churning will happen. And through this churning, a lot of ideas will come. How to take forward our journey of the Republic, how to align Republic with the Rashtra, to the good of how Republic functions, to the good of Rashtra. How the true spirit of the Constitution is imbibed and implemented. How everyone moves forward as one family. I'm sure this seminar will come up with a lot of ideas. Thank you very much for the patient listening. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. Now I would like to request Shri Bishwajit Ganguly, Trustee, Sri Aurobindo Bhavan, Kolkata, for his vote of thanks.